SUVs. Priced like nothing on this list, sitting on used lots right now, while the buyers who actually understand what's underneath them go back for a second, sometimes a third one. This isn't a guess. It's what mechanics, insurance data, and long-term owners keep pointing to when the conversation turns to which vehicles actually survive past the warranty. Let's start with the one most dealerships still price wrong. Number 8 is the Toyota 4Runner, 5th generation, built from 2010 all the way through 2023. Same body-on-frame chassis. Same 4.0-liter V6. 13 years without a redesign, which sounds almost lazy until you realize what it actually means. Parts stay interchangeable across a full decade of production, and mechanics who've worked on a dozen different model years can diagnose a 2012 almost as fast as a 2021. IC Cars has repeatedly placed the 4Runner near the very top of vehicles most likely to cross 200,000 miles, and it's not because Toyota reinvented anything under the hood. It's because they refuse to. That refusal to change, though, hides a problem a lot of over 40 buyers walk straight into. The TRD Pro trims, loaded with extra electronics, upgraded suspension modules, more sensors. They introduce failure points the base SR5 simply doesn't have. Shoppers chasing the flashiest badge on the lot sometimes end up buying the least reliable version of the exact same truck without ever realizing it. Mechanics see this constantly. A customer proud of their TRD Pro back in the shop for something a bare-bones SR5 owner never has to think about. Simpler, in this case, really does mean sturdier. Now the story moves into territory most reliability lists skip entirely: luxury. Number 7 is the Lexus GX 460, and underneath the leather, the badge, the price tag that makes it look like a different category of vehicle, sits almost the exact same platform as the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado. Lexus barely touched the mechanical bones for over a decade. Insurance claims data shows the GX 460 posting one of the lowest mechanical failure claim rates in its entire segment. Not just luxury SUVs, the whole category. Owners routinely push past 250,000 miles with nothing more dramatic than suspension bushings and scheduled fluid changes. Here's where it gets strange for anyone shopping purely on brand instinct. The GX 460 depreciates faster than its Land Cruiser sibling, despite sharing almost identical mechanical DNA, mostly because buyers assume Lexus automatically means expensive to fix. Shops that specialize in Toyota Lexus platforms will tell you the opposite. Parts costs sit close to the Toyota equivalent, nowhere near what people brace themselves for when they see that badge. That fear, completely misplaced here, quietly hands buyers a discount on a vehicle that arguably deserves a premium. And that exact misplaced fear is about to flip on itself completely, because the SUV coming up next built such a strong reputation for durability that the reputation alone drove its price higher than almost anything else in this segment, for reasons that actually hold up under scrutiny. 6th spot belongs to the Toyota Land Cruiser, the 200 series sold from 2008 to 2021. Taxi fleets, 8 convoys, government vehicles running roads that would tear apart most consumer SUVs inside a year. That's who keeps choosing this one, and not out of loyalty, out of necessity. NHTSA complaint records on the 200 series are thin. Suspiciously thin for a vehicle this size, this old, driven this hard. So why does it sit unsold back home? Price. A clean 200 series often costs more used than several brand-new mid-size SUVs, combined with a warranty attached. Buyers over 40 hunting for value walk right past it, assuming a 15-year-old Land Cruiser must hide something expensive. It doesn't. The upkeep is dull, almost boringly predictable. Filters, fluids, the occasional suspension component. Nothing dramatic. The real trap here isn't the truck. It's the assumption. 5th position lands somewhere American shoppers rarely expect on a reliability conversation. The Ford Expedition, specifically 2018 through 2022, after Ford quietly reworked the 3.5-liter EcoBoost S cooling architecture. Earlier EcoBoost Expeditions had a documented weakness: under sustained towing. In hot climates especially, Some units develop cracked engine blocks tied to coolant flow issues Ford eventually traced and fixed through revised castings starting mid-cycle. Owners who bought before the fix learned this the expensive way. Owners who bought after? Completely different ownership experience. And that gap is exactly what separates a smart used purchase from a costly mistake here. Here's the part buyers skip past too quickly. VIN-specific production date. Checks matter more on this expedition than almost anywhere else on this list. Two trucks, same trim, same year on paper, can carry entirely different engine revisions depending on the exact build month. A pre-purchase inspection focused specifically on coolant system updates isn't optional advice for this one. It's the difference between 300,000 trouble-free miles and a five-figure engine replacement 2 years in. What's strange, though, is how little of this shows up in casual online chatter. Complaints about earlier EcoBoost failures still dominate search results, dragging down resale confidence on the entire Expedition lineup, including the fixed generation that solved the problem years ago. Buyers who actually dig into build dates instead of relying on brand reputation alone are picking up a genuinely durable, full-size SUV at a discount created almost entirely by outdated internet noise. And that discount created by bad information is nothing compared to what's waiting at position 4, where an entire SUV's reputation got permanently shaped by a rumor that turned out to be only half true. Fourth place goes somewhere unexpected, and it's the rumor itself that matters as much as the truck. Chevrolet's Tahoe and Suburban, 2015 through 2020, share a platform, a drivetrain, basically identical mechanical DNA. For years, online forums buried both under complaints about transmission shudder in the 6L80 automatic. Real complaints, documented in early production years, mostly 2015 and 2016 models, tied to torque converter calibration. GM fixed it. Software updates, revised converters, rolled out mid-cycle. The kind of quiet fix manufacturers rarely announce, because announcing it means admitting the problem existed in the first place. Post-2017 Tahoes and Suburbans largely don't carry the issue at all. But the internet doesn't forget easily, and search results still treat the whole generation like it's damaged goods. That mismatch between reputation and reality is worth sitting with for a second. RepairPal's cost index actually ranks these SUVs favorably for a full-size platform. Parts are common. Mechanics know the 5.3-liter V8 inside and out. And body-on-frame simplicity means fewer surprises than you'd expect from something this large. Buyers who check build dates instead of trusting old Reddit threads are walking into genuinely dependable full-size capability at prices dragged down by a problem that stopped existing years ago. Third position circles back to a name already mentioned once on this list, but a completely different chapter of its story, the Toyota Sequoia, second generation, built from 2008 through 2022. 14 years on largely the same platform, which by now should sound familiar. Toyota did here what it did with the 4Runner. Refused to fix what wasn't broken. Owners routinely report crossing 300,000 miles. Not occasionally, routinely. NHTSA data shows remarkably few powertrain-related complaints across that entire production span, an oddity for a vehicle this size, this heavy, hauling this much weight for this many years. And yet the Sequoia sits on lots longer than almost anything comparable, because full-size 3-row SUVs from Toyota don't carry the same instant recognition as a Tahoe or an Expedition. People walk past it assuming unfamiliar means risky. It's the opposite kind of risk that actually applies here. The real risk is paying Tahoe money for Expedition capability when a Sequoia sitting 3 rows over on the same lot offers the identical bulletproof mechanical reputation as its smaller 4Runner cousin, at a price nobody's bidding up yet. That won't last. Word is already starting to spread among people who buy and sell these for a living, and prices are creeping upward exactly the way 4Runner prices did 5 years ago. Which brings this list to its final 2 entries. And the second one flips almost everything assumed so far about what bulletproof actually means. Second place goes to the Honda Pilot, 3rd generation, 2016 through 2022, and it flips something almost everyone assumes walking into this list. Toyota's dominated 7 spots so far. Honda earns this one purely on data, not tradition. The third-gen Pilot fixed nearly every complaint tied to its predecessor. A more refined direct-injection V6, a 9-speed transmission that early reviewers criticized for feeling hesitant. And, this matters, a timing belt swapped permanently for a timing chain, removing an entire category of scheduled maintenance costs that plagued older Hondas for decades. Independent transmission shops report far fewer 9-speed failures than the internet chatter around 2016 and 2017 models would suggest. Most of those early complaints trace back to software calibration, not hardware, and Honda resolved it through updates well before 2019. Here's the wrinkle buyers still miss. AWD trims and front-wheel drive trims age completely differently. The AWD system adds mechanical complexity that, 10 years in, starts showing where in ways the simpler front-wheel drive version never does. A driver who never actually needs AWD, someone in a mild climate, mostly highway miles, often ends up with a more durable vehicle by choosing the lesser trim. Reliability, again, hiding inside the option nobody thought to want, which sets up the final entry. And it's the one that surprises people most because it's not a Toyota, not a Lexus, not even remotely marketed as rugged. Number 1 is the Subaru Forester, 2014 through 2018, non-turbo 4-cylinder only. Subaru doesn't carry the same bulletproof reputation Toyota built over decades. Turbocharged Foresters and Outback from other years have real, documented head gasket problems that hurt the brand's name broadly. But this specific window, this specific engine, sidesteps nearly all of it. The naturally aspirated 2.5-liter runs simpler, cooler, under less sustained stress than its turbocharged sibling ever did. What actually earns it the top spot is the symmetrical all-wheel drive system, engaged constantly rather than reactively, the way most competitors' AWD works. That constant engagement sounds like it should wear parts faster. It does the opposite, distributing mechanical stress evenly instead of shocking the system every time it kicks in. Rural mail carriers, forestry workers, anyone driving unpredictable terrain daily gravitate toward this exact generation for that reason alone, and resale data in those markets reflects it. So here's the thread connecting all 8 of these. None of them are the SUV getting hyped on a dealership floor right now. Every one of them earned its spot through boring, repetitive, unglamorous engineering. The kind that doesn't sell a test drive but absolutely wins a decade of ownership. Buyers over 40 who skip flashy trims, check build dates instead of trusting badges, and choose the simpler engine over the tempting one are the ones quietly building the most dependable driveway in their neighborhood. If one of these 8 is already parked outside your house, or if you've been eyeing one on a lot without knowing this history, drop it in the comments. It's worth knowing exactly how many people are sitting on the same discovery without realizing it yet.